Hello, freaks. Welcome to checking in to American Horror Story Hotel. This video is a review for American Horror Story Season 5 Hotel, Episode 1, titled Checking In. So, spoiler alert, if you have not watched the episode, I recommend you go and watch the episode rather than listen to my review. I don't want to spoil it for you. But I can definitely say 100% certainty, American Horror Story is back. People, this is the season that we love and cherish, like Asylum and Murder House, but we kind of cringe away from just slightly when you mention Coven or Freak Show. So if you are looking for the kind of dark, twisted writing that American Horror Story is known for, then this is your season. We start out with the Hotel Cortez. Excuse me. A couple of Swedish foreign girls come to check in, and Kathy Bates, which we later find out her character's name is Iris, she checks them in. The girls go upstairs. They smell a smell. They don't really like the hotel. And when they find the actual point of origin for the smell, and it's inside the mattress, and it's been kind of makeshift sewed up, and it's kind of creepy. So one of the girls grabs the scissors, cuts open the makeshift sewing, and a man, just a burned kind of grotesque man, kind of just comes out of the mattress, and he's screaming. And which was a great way to open the story. Fantastic way. The girls go downstairs and they tell Iris, and she says, look, I'll call the cops and you can stay in one of the other rooms while you wait for them. And they said, well, the girls, the foreign Swedish girls said, well, we don't want to stay in the hotel anymore. That was too scary. And Iris tells them, well, you can't leave or I will call the cops and tell them that you evaded a crime. And so it convinces the girls to stay. Iris takes them to room 64. The girls kind of pass out, and one of them wakes up at 2:25 in the morning. She looks for her friend, doesn't see her, goes into the bathroom, and sees two little kids drinking the blood out of her friend. So you get the impression that these little kids are vampires. The actual hotel opening credits give you the 10 Commandments, which is weird. You get all of these distorted, freaky images in the opening of the hotel and all the weird people that are inside there, but it gives you the 10 Commandments too while it's flashing through those pictures. So I wonder what the 10 Commandments has to do with this season. It's very interesting. The first guest to come to the hotel is a junkie. He comes in and he basically wants to shoot up. Iris gives him room 64. So room 64 is starting to show up a lot already in the opening sequence. Excuse me. It obviously is a very important room, so we need to keep hold of it. We need to remember it. He shoots up, and all I can say is terrible things happen to this poor young guy. Sarah Paulson is introduced in that scene as Sally, and all I can say is reinforce the fact that American Horror Story is back, and I love you, Sally. The foreign girls you discover afterwards are being held in like these tall iron cages. They're being forced fed healthy food by Iris. It's kind of gross. Iris puts it all in a blender and force feeds it to the girls. Rich proteins, I guess. They have little tubes coming out of them, out of the girls who are being held hostage. So Iris indicates that she's filtering something. Iris and Sally have a little confrontation, and Iris basically tells Sally how much she hates her. And so she leaves Sally to take care of the girls. And Iris says, and I quote, she has to go feed that thing in room 33. What the hell is that thing in room 33? See, this is why I love American Horror Story. These little sentences, these one one-liner sentences that just make the chills run down your back. I thought that was a phenomenal sentence for Kathy Bates. She has to go feed that thing in room 33. That was fantastic. Okay. Then basically the whole focus of this episode is Detective John Lowe. He has a daughter and a wife, but it doesn't seem like it's a good relationship. He does not stay with them. A killer has been chasing after John, kind of taunting him. Says that he's at the Hotel Cortez in the beginning of the episode and in room 64. So John goes to the Hotel Cortez, and that's when he meets Iris. Iris is the one who he talks to. And Dennis O'Hare is also introduced as a character called Liz Taylor. So I don't know if he's transgender or if he's gay, or I'm not sure. The episode doesn't really make it clear, so I assume that we will know once the season progresses about the story with Liz. One thing, though, I do want to say, I don't understand it. Regardless of the fact of what Liz Taylor's gender is, she looks so much better than most of the women I know. How the hell does she do that with her makeup? I mean, I think that Dennis O'Hare looks beautiful as Liz Taylor, and I think I can already foresee that Liz is probably going to be one of my favorite characters. Liz takes John to room 64, and so John goes inside and no one's there. But oddly enough, he lays down in the bed, takes a little nap, and at 2:25, he's woken up. So the time 2:25 inside room 64 is obviously very important, okay? John, when he wakes up at 2:25, he sees this little white-haired boy, and the little boy runs away, and John follows him. It's kind of SKL Shining-ish. It's really cool. I love that scene. John can't find the kid, but we do see where John does have a family. He does have a wife, Alex. He has a daughter, Scarlett, and he had a son, Holden. John is basically called away to a crime scene. The killer has struck again after he's gone to the Hotel Cortez. There's nothing inside, again, room 64, what the killer asks John to look for him. And we get a little bit of a backstory about John, Detective John Lowe. In 2010, John and his wife and his two kids were at a fairground. He put his little boy on a merry-go-round. I guess he took a call or he looked away for a moment. And then when he looked back, Holden was gone. And somebody had kidnapped his son. Alex tells John that John looks exactly like Holden, and that's why she can't look at him. And that's why their relationship has gone so terrible, because she can't stand to look at the one person who knows what she's going through, is what she says. And Alex is played by the most impeccable Chloe. I would attempt to say her last name. I want to say it's Savignon, but it's possible I am inaccurate, and I don't want to butcher this young woman's last name. I think she is spectacular as Alex, and I'm glad to see her back in the series. So, Alex can't be with John, so basically John moves out of the house to go stay at the Hotel Cortez in hopes of finding this killer. And Iris gives John the key to room 64. So, again, there's room 64. Kind of looking forward to finding out what's going on about this room 64. We meet Lady Gaga. It does not give us her name, but she has a boy toy named Donovan. I'm guessing that she is a vampire. If anybody can bring vampires back and make them look awesome, it's Lady Gaga. But their entrance into the hotel after they picked up this couple from an outside movie viewing was wonderfully shot. The music was fantastic. The acting was impeccable. And you get a look at Lady Gaga and her perfect body, I say. And we also see why she has those gloves in the previews. The gloves are explained, well, not explained, but you see her using them in this episode to slice people open and drink their blood. So that leads me to believe she is a vampire, and that little glove is her little killing tool, which think is fantastic. She doesn't use her teeth. She's not a traditional vampire. So I don't necessarily know if she is a vampire. So it could be wrong to call her one when she is not. But she drinks the blood of people who she cuts open with her gloves. So I would assume she's a vampire. I thought it was fantastic. I can't wait to see more of her character. She meets Will Drake and Lachlan as they tour the hotel. In this episode, Will Drake is considering buying the hotel. She takes Lachlan to see where all of the kids who filmed Village of the Damned are stored. I mean, it was, I make a joke of it, but it was really creepy, everybody. She takes this little boy, Lachlan, to see all these little kids who are white-haired and dressed in black clothing and literally look like they just stepped off the set of the Village of the Damned. It was weird, where they're playing outdated video games. I don't know if that's a punishment. To me, that would be a punishment. Maybe they weren't good kids. I don't know. But one of the little kids there is Holden, Detective John Lowe's boy. So why is he there? I mean, it's obvious that when he was kidnapped, did the kidnapper bring him to the Cortez? We don't know just yet. So I'm looking very forward to that backstory there as well. Excuse me. One very interesting thing that happened during this episode was a link to the murder house. Awesome. Here's what happened, guys. The realtor from Murder House, Marcy, she's the one who sold the Harmons the murder house. She, played by the wonderful Christine Eastbrook, I apologize, excuse me again. Marcy takes Will Drake to go see the Hotel Cortez. Now, she makes a comment as they go into the hotel that her dog, Hallie, has recently died. And if you remember, in Murder House, after the Harmons are all killed and made ghosts of the murder house, Marcy takes their dog, Hallie. She adopts the dog. And in this episode of Hotel, she comments that Hallie has now died. So now that we know where Hotel has happened in the sequence of events to Murder House, this has happened after the Harmons have died in the murder house. So I loved it. I thought it was fantastic how you could see from the very first episode of Hotel the link to Murder House. Iris and Donovan are related. They are mother and son. Their backstory is revealed. Donovan is basically revealed as a junkie. Sally has drugs, and her and Donovan go into a hotel room. He accidentally overdoses, I guess, on the China White that Sally gives him, which it's so filthy and gritty. It's such a poignant scene, and I thought it was fantastic on how gritty it was for people who have drug uses. It was fantastic. I love how American Horror Story tries to be very real and gritty, gruesome, horribly real in their episodes. I think it's fantastic. Sally takes Donovan to room 64, and that's where he ODs in. Iris is pissed because she has been following her son, pays Liz Taylor at the desk to give her the key so she can go up there and save her son, and she's too late. So Sally leaves the room as Iris is is begging her, please help my son, please call an ambulance, call a doctor. And Sally says, I ain't gonna do anything to help you, lady. So Sally leaves the hotel. She's walking out of the room down the hallway. She stops to look out a window, and Iris just pushes her butt out the window. And that was crazy. It was unexpected. And way to go, Kathy Bates. I mean, that was a completely unexpected scene, and I think Sarah Paulson and Kathy Bates did a wonderful job in that scene. And after Iris pushes Sally out the window, she goes back to her son in room 64 and sees the Countess laying over Donovan. And the Countess wins my one-liner quote for this episode. When she's over Donovan, Iris comes in and asks her, who are you? And Lady Gaga replies to her, your boy has a jawline for days. And I thought that was fantastic. Lady Gaga is is fantastic. The only thing I wanted to say about this episode is at the end of the episode when John checks into the hotel, the song Hotel California is playing over the scene. And at the end, right before the scene shuts off and ends the episode, the line from the song comes on, "You can check out whenever you like, but you can never leave." I wonder if that's indicative to the people who come and stay there, like Sally. I mean, obviously she's a ghost, so why can't she leave? Is that what the song is trying to say? That the people who come can check out whenever they like, but spiritually they can't leave? So I am really looking forward to this season, guys. I think American Horror Story is back to shock us spectacularly. I don't even know if that's a word. I'm a writer and I don't even know if that's a word. But I am amazed by this season. I think it's fantastic. And I hope you do too. Thank you very much for watching my video. Please like if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you want to see more. Leave me comments and questions. I would love to start discussion with other American Horror Story junkies like myself. Thank you again for watching the video. And if you have a problem, don't forget to call housekeeping.